after the theft, a lot of, I think also the OB was taken and everything. So I didn't go and visit. Look, if you are a head of the Hawks, I understand, or a head of an office or institutions, you have people who are doing certain responsibilities on your behalf. And I strongly believe that the actions that I've taken, from my perspective, they were sufficient enough. But today, before the commission, the commissioners have raised certain issues that I should have also considered, and I'm taking note of that. But asking one question over and over, that my answer will never change. It is still the same. I've never went and checked. Thank you, Commissioners.
Are you saying, with the benefit of hindsight, more could have been done to secure that cocaine, and you accept that? But at the time, you thought the steps you took were sufficient?
At the time, the steps I took were sufficient, but now I'm learning of new avenues that in the near future I must apply.
Because remember, my earlier criticism was, I thought it was reckless that there's nobody guarding those drugs 24 hours a day. People just go there when they have time to simply walk past and check that everything is fine. And that was my criticism. I think, to be fair to you, you said you can see how I can look at it that way.
Correct, Commissioner. What is happening is that when you deal with a situation.
And sorry, I don't want you to repeat. I was simply making the point because Advocate has seen, there are time constraints. So there's no need to repeat.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Kumala. I think the point is made. I just want to be clear that my questions were in two respects. One is whether you did it, and secondly, whether you considered it an obligation on you to do it. But I think you've answered both of those questions. So we're going to move on from there.
Just one last point. Have any arrests been made? Were these drugs ever found? Because we are 4.5 months, 4.5 years,
4 years
down the line.
Commissioners, I don't know. Ever since...
No. General, have arrests been made, yes or no? Have the drugs been recovered, yes or no? You can't say you don't know.
Remember what I said on Tuesday. The case docket and inquiries were taken away. And in that call-up instruction, they are reporting specifically to certain offices at head office, not to me. But I didn't hear any report that suggested that the drugs were recovered or there is any arrest. So I can't say with certainty because I'm not having insight.
And you're one of the people, right?
Correct.
And you're one of the people that had access, that knew about this, where it is, the setup of the room, and where things are stored. I would have thought that as the owner of this, even though investigations are now happening elsewhere, you would ask. You are sufficiently interested. You need to know who of your people, if at all, have anything to do with this. I would have thought you would try to find out. We had witnesses from Ekurhuleni municipality where their matters are being dealt with by iPad. They didn't sit back. They came to testify and told us the countless times that they have chased up with iPad to find out, where are you with this? I've laid a criminal complaint and you're dealing with it. Where are you? So I'm quite surprised that something so major, that, as you said on day one, it's a blight on your record as well. And potentially, you remain a person of interest as with the other people, because you knew about this hall, you knew where it was stored, and I would have thought that it's a matter that you would want to know and you would chase up to see that head office gets to the bottom of how this happened. And it's It's difficult to understand that you have done nothing about it.
Commissioners, before the team was established and the case dockets and the inquiry file were taken, we were working on this. After they limited us there and they wrote that letter, I must tell you that it is difficult. It is difficult for me to check that in progress, because even when the team from head office visited KwaZulu-Natal, they never informed me they are there. Up until this day, when they come there, they don't say, General, we are here. We are. Even if they don't tell me what they are going to do with investigation of the theft, it's okay. You don't have to give me detail. They don't, commissioners. So it manifested this thing of me. I said, oh, if this is the situation, let me. Because I remember at one stage, I requested my supervisor that when members are moving from another province to another province, it is important to just let the provincial head know that we are in your area, not necessarily to say, because if the problems arises like with vehicles or any other problems, God forbid, if they are involved in a shooting incident with perpetrators, we need to know, oh, remember, we had our own people. But if you don't know, it is a problem. But the very same team that has been established, ever since they were established, they visited the province to come and do the investigations. I was not even informed about that.
Is there anything that precludes you from asking your supervisor what's happening with my drugs that were here? Those investigations. I know I would do that if I were in charge of people and my supervisor took over a matter from me, then I have an interest in the outcome because I want to get to the bottom of it. I would ask my supervisor, even in a letter, one line, what's happening with this matter? As Commissioner Khumalo says, it's 4.5 years later. The head of the DPCI, under whose watch this was taken, says, I don't know what's happening.
Commissioners, I understand what you are saying. I wanted to know the progress. I wanted to form part of the investigation. But once they decide they make a directive that these people will be the investigators, they will report to this one and monitor, and the deputy will monitor the progress on a weekly basis. That on its own, for me, it was an instruction that you don't interfere here, staying in your lane. That is how I took it when I read that letter, because it was sent to me as well. The call-up is the establishment of this task team to deal with this. That's what recorded in me. Maybe that's why I'm saying I don't know what is the current status of the case. But there was no reports of some sorts that suggested that there are arrests or there is a recovery. Commissioners.
Thank you. Ms. Asa?
Thank you. Commissioners, I'm going to move off the Port Shepstone, so if there are any other questions from your side, I'm covered. I only have
one last point before you move off it. From Colonel Prinslow's statement that you gave us, and this is still about, the measures that would have been in place to secure this. It seems that it was known, it was out there somewhere that Port Shepstone is keeping this valuable haul of drugs. And I say that because in that paragraph 10 of Colonel Prinsloo, he speaks about a Brigadier Naika who had come to his office to inspect certain SANEP dockets, privately said to talk to him about the cocaine that was stored in the safe. So it seems like not enough measures were taken to make sure this is secure. Not just anybody knows. Here's Naika from outside of all of this who knows about it.
Brigadier Naika, Commissioner, is a section head of SANEP, South African National Narcotics Enforcement Bureau. He oversees this type of drugs and some of the seizures. Now, you can see clearly here that when we store these drugs there, we never made a media statement about the storage or whatever and show. The only thing that happened, it was the bust at Isipingo. Now, you can see that within ourselves, somebody decided to inform Brigadier about the storage. So it is some of the things.
There was no reason for the Brigadier to know this.
Absolutely. So some of the things, commissioners, are difficult to manage, and some of the things like I will give an example of you can't police rape because it happens within and elsewhere. So it is it supports also my statement when I say somebody within the PCI KZN or even outside who knows the outlet of that office, sold us.
And it could have been any one of you who knew about this.
It could have been,
Yes.
but definitely it's not me.
Yeah, no, you say that, General.
If it was me, the investigation would have come and arrested me long time ago. I wouldn't have been sitting here, commissioners.
Well,
Will you
General,
submit to the
we don't know
polygraph
what's
test?
happening, but
Come again?
Will you offer yourself to be submitted for the polygraph?
If
You
my
said you asked your subordinates to do it, but you didn't.
If my supervisor asked me to do that, I will gladly do it because he's got the powers to subject us to that. It's me who made the application. But the issue of saying I must volunteer, I didn't because the Act says he must commission it for me. I commission it for my members.
Yes, you can go to him and say, commission it. You can do that.
It never happened. I thought if there was at that stage he regarded me as a person of interest, he should have done that. So I can't answer on his behalf, commissioners.
no, but General, that's not a satisfactory answer, though. You say that this theft, according to the way you saw it, this theft is an inside job, effectively, that someone who knew we have this and knows that place very well has something to do with this. And when I say that could also, that includes you, I don't say it flippantly. You are one of the people that knew exactly what's in there, and you know that place, as well as your juniors that you said should go to a polygraphy test. And to say you could have offered, you are a person of interest, even if your supervisor doesn't say, you become a person of interest because you are also in the same position as your subordinates that you said should go for this. And so the surprise, for lack of a better word, that you did not offer, you didn't say to your supervisor, I also want to take a polygraphy test, because you know in your heart and head, you say that you are not implicated. But you know appearances also matter. Who knew about this? It's an inside job. You don't offer, you don't say to your supervisor, I want to, and have your supervisor say to you, no, I don't think it's necessary. I'm not going to request you to do it. I think it is fair if it's a question, it's a matter of wonder but why did you not offer him? And have him requisition it or reject you and say, no, I don't think it's necessary. Because you're really situated exactly the same way as the juniors that you requested a polygraph for. You're nothing other than your position as head of unit excludes you on these facts as a potential, and please hear me, I'm saying potentially, nothing excludes you by virtue of your office from being one of the people that may have, been behind this. And I would have thought that concern would have made you say to your superior, I want you to subject me to a polygraph test.
Commissioner, I think the chairperson asked me the very same question, and I responded the very same way I am responding. It is an unfortunate situation that it never crossed my mind that I must offer myself, and I hear your points, and then as I indicated earlier, some of the things is a learning curve in the near future. Should you be faced with the same type of a situation, even if we won't store again there.
General, my question had moved on from the chairs. I was saying now, as we sit now, would you do that? So that's what I was saying. And you said, well, if your supervisor asks, then you would.
Are you insinuating that I must go tell my supervisor, put me under polygraph?
Yes.
For this thing?
Precisely.
It's too late.
Okay.
It's too late.
That's a different answer.
It's too late, commissioners.
Chair, I'd like to move off this. It's just one last thing.
Please
that remains.
do. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you. It's one last thing, and it is. Have we? Chair, what will be handed up?
Yes, Ms. Hassan.
What I'm handing up is a circular issued by the National Commissioner on 30 December 2024.
We got two. Yes, Ms. Hassan.
The date is on the last page. It's 30 December 2024. The circular by the National Commissioner, General Masemola, and it relates to the processing of personal information. And I just wanted to ask you, General, whether you're aware of this circular. Have you seen the circular before?
I'm not quite 100% sure, but I'm aware of the POPIA Act.
Okay, we don't need to go through it in detail. I just want to draw your attention to just a couple of things. The first is the first paragraph. The management of the South African Police Service has noted with concern that personal information of persons is leaked to various social media platforms or recipients who are not entitled to have access to the information. This constitutes the unlawful processing of personal information. Do you see that?
Yes, Commissioners.
And then if you just turn over to paragraph 4, the circular says in the second sentence of paragraph 4, in terms of Section 70 of the South African Police Services Act, it is prohibited to share official information with persons who are not employed by the SAPS or who are employed by the SAPS but are not entitled to access or view such information. So this, for me, is relevant to the questions that I was asking you regarding the Nangi documents that you sent to Kat Matlala. Would you agree that that would be in violation of this circular, submitting those documents to Mr. Matlala?
It is not, because I said this thing was in the public domain. I didn't take information from the police and give it to him. If I took information maybe from an office of the police that was not in the public domain and shared it with him, yes, I would be in violation. But in this instance of what you were asking me earlier, it is not in violation.
I think you need to read the circular quite closely then, so that you can apprise yourself of what the requirements are. It's quite specific, and paragraph 6 goes on to say employees may not indiscriminately forward message to groups, even SAPS groups, without first determining whether the recipients should have access to the information. So what the thrust of the circular is saying is that sensitive information, personal information, official documents of the SAPS should not be transmitted to any recipient not entitled to have access. It doesn't say that if it's already out in the public domain, then you may continue to do so.
Can you see that there's a gap that the employer must deal with it? Because it talks about here SAPS groups that are being created to deal with SAPS issues. But coming to the issue of Mr. Nangi, this was in a public domain but not in the SAPS groups.
No.
Even if you disagree with me, you say no, but commissioners, I never took information from SAPS groups and sent it to Mr. Matlala. Specifically that one of Mr. Nangi that the advocate is referring to. So, and this document, I must inform the commissioners, I got it during lunch. I didn't even happen to read and consult my legals with. I was busy eating and resting my mind to come back and respond to questions. So now I'm responding, I'm told no. If we don't agree, we don't agree, it's still okay.
We certainly don't agree. I did speak to your legal representatives and requested and confirmed with them that they would be fine with me bringing this to the attention of the Commission, and the purpose of which I wanted to do it. And I want to suggest that you are playing with words again by saying now you see this, it's talking about SAPS groups and this is not, and it's public domain, because the first paragraph I read to you could not be more plain. It says that the management is concerned, has notice concerned that personal information of persons is leaked to various social media platforms or recipients who are not entitled to have access to the information. This constitutes the unlawful processing of personal information. It doesn't matter that somebody else has already transmitted this information. The duty is incumbent on each individual within the SAPS to comply with this. That's what I'm putting to you.
Commissioners, my understanding is the information in possession of the state. The information in possession of the state. That is my understanding of this paragraph.
Commissioners, sorry to interject. When we did have the conversation about this particular document, our legal team was okay with, of course, giving the document to Major General Senona. However, I did state to the evidence leader that if Major General Senona needs additional time to familiarize himself with the document, I think that it would only be fair that he take that time upon request to familiarize himself with the document. So if Major General Senona is saying that perhaps maybe he needs additional time, then perhaps maybe the Commissioner should allow him additional time to sit with it a little bit longer, further consider it, and then perhaps maybe the evidence leader can continue.
I've not heard him say so, though. I'm understanding the General to be engaging with Ms. Hassim on the interpretation of the document. I did not once hear him say that he needs more time, unless I misheard.
And it was not conveyed to me, Chair, that he needs more time.
Sorry.
It was not conveyed to me that he needs more time. If it were conveyed to me, then I wouldn't have gone here.
I've not heard him say so, Ms. Or are you saying?
No.
You are, or are you asking that the General should be given more time?
Chairperson, I was merely informing the Commissioners of the discussion that I had with the evidence leader. That's the only thing that I was stating. It just seemed as if Major General Senona is, as he had stated that it was during lunchtime, he did not have enough time to actually go through the document. So as much as he did not say, I need more time, he indirectly communicated to the Commissioners that it was during lunchtime. He did not have sufficient time to actually look through the document.
It's a 4-page document. We could, it's 16 minutes past 4. Let's take a 5. Would 5 minutes be enough, General, for you to just go through the document? But as I said, I did not once hear you complain about needing time to go through the document. But let's just take a 5-minute adjournment. That will also help us with a body break.
Again,
Will 4 minutes be enough for you to just go through the document?
10. I
10.
asked for 10.
That's in order.
It must be placed on record. I get this thing at lunch today.
Yes.
A new document again. It must be noted by the commissioners. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. At least you've indicated you